What is up, everybody? Welcome to this NWSL Championship game recap here on Touchline Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content going up on the channel. And it is all over. It is the Orlando Pride for the first time becoming NWSL champions, defeating the Washington Spirit 1-0 in Kansas City. To me, the story of this game was that the Spirit got what they wanted tactically, and it just didn't matter. If you would have asked Jonathan Heraldez how he wanted the game to go, and you would have told him that Hal Hirschfeld would have done a good job as the lone deep-lying midfielder, that Trinity Robin probably would have been the most dangerous player on the field in the first half, that they would have gotten decent opportunities, they would have controlled the tempo, controlled possession for the most part, would have been comfortable. Their wingers would have caused Orlando problems. Marta would have been really quiet. Barbara Banda would have been limited in those transition moments for the most part. I think he would have signed up for it every single day. And the Spirit were the better team, at least for the first 15, 20, 30 minutes. And then the goal happens. And that's just Barbara Banda being Barbara Banda and cooking Esme Morgan and getting that shot off fast enough that Aubrey Kingsbury can't do anything about it. And that's the game right there. I mean, the Spirit were pushing at the end, but there weren't that many truly threatening moments. And the fact that this game played out this way is what makes this Orlando team so brilliant. And it's also another example of what succeeds in the postseason. Because they can take you out just about any possible way. They've got a terrific defense. Emily Sam's just won Defender of the Year. If they need to play a really tight game with not many chances, they can do that. When they have a lead, they are really, really hard to score against. Sometimes they're going to blow you away with their attack. You know, they're coming off of games where they're scoring 4 goals, 3 goals. They're a handful. But that's not always going to be the reality. You're not going to have perfect games every time in the playoffs. And so that's where you need to sometimes rely on your defense. And particularly in the postseason, in single elimination or knockout tournaments, you also need players that can go win you a game with a single moment, that can create something out of nothing. And that's what you saw from Barbara Banda in this game. And obviously, Barbara Banda is that kind of player. It wasn't like she had all these opportunities. She had a couple other ones. There was the early chance that she passed to Marta that didn't really lead to anything too dangerous, but it was a good opportunity. But she just needs that one moment. And so this was a story about not outplaying the Spirit, but out executing them. And that is sometimes you just have good days and you catch a fortunate break and you out execute somebody. Or you overachieve based on, your expected goals and the way the game was going, and you get a win you don't deserve. But the ability to execute in those decisive moments and to take advantage of your opportunities is also a skill. I talk about this all this time with Brighton. It's why Brighton has elevated to a whole nother level. They went from being a team that created a bunch of chances but couldn't convert to a team that creates a bunch of chances and actually takes them. They have players who score goals now. Because when it happens over and over again, it's a pattern. It's not an accident. And that's what you have with those two attackers, and Barbara Banda and Marta. It's players who just need one opportunity, who are ruthless in front of net, who can make something out of nothing and can turn an okay opportunity into a goal. And you combine that with everything else this team has, and they can just adjust to whatever kind of game they have to play. They can beat you in possession. They can beat you in transition, right? This game, they couldn't really build much of anything in terms of real dangerous attacks. It didn't matter. They got a couple moments in transition. They got a goal. They saw it out. So, yeah, on the balance of play, they probably weren't the better team. But it's not like you can sit here and say that the Washington Spirit deserved to win this game. They had some chances. They didn't take advantage. That's part of this, too, that sometimes I think gets missed in the evaluation of games. And so, the bigger picture here that I want to end on is to just appreciate how rare it is for a team to do what the Orlando Pride have done this season. Of course, they set the points record. Of course, they were just trying to make the playoffs because that's not even something they usually do, right? They've never had a season where they've been a really good team. They've had some okay seasons and a lot of bad ones. But outside of all of that stuff, for a team to go from day one to the last game of the season as clearly the best team in the league, and of course they got the unbeaten run, not just winning the Shield and winning the championship. That's hard enough on its own. Right? How many times, look at Inter Miami this season. How many times do you see the best teams not succeed in the postseason? There's that part of the challenge. But then it's also, they trailed for, 8 minutes in the playoffs in these 3 games? They scored 4 goals, destroyed the Red Stars. Then they fell behind in the semis, immediately came back and scored, and then another 10 or so minutes after that had the lead. And it got a little dicey at the end. But generally, that was a pretty comfortable win. Yeah, they fell behind, but then they blew you away for 20, 30 minutes. And then this game, again, not the best performance in the world, but fairly comfortable once they got the goal. Because you look at some of these other examples, and, it's having to go to extra time. Or it's the 2 games the Spirit had where they had to salvage things at the last minute to even get it to extra time or to, eventually win in the penalty shootout or whatever it might be. It is incredibly, incredibly rare to be so dominant every step of the way, including the postseason. And yeah, we've seen some examples of this with North Carolina Courage, so it is easier to do in the NWSL, especially with the shortened postseason format too, than other leagues. But it's still a remarkable accomplishment for a team nobody expected anything from this season. And so that's where I want to end this. It speaks for itself. It wasn't the greatest performance. It wasn't the most convincing, but it was comfortable. That's the sign of a great team. That it takes something great to beat them, but they don't have to be great to beat you. So congratulations to the Orlando Pride. Congratulations to those players. Marta, her mom gets to watch her win this thing in person. Really cool story there. Congratulations to Seb Hines. Just a ridiculously good job he has done with this team. It's a tremendous story. Absolutely, unequivocally deserving champions. 2024 NWSL season, from start to finish, it's about the Orlando Pride. That's how it should be. They are your NWSL champions. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time.